What's going on? We back, Motor City Sports Talk, getting it in, talk some Pistons for a minute, and just kind of looking forward to the future for the Pistons in the offseason, man. They do have some assets to play with. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Won't miss another video. Continue to share the videos. Best way you can donate to the channel. And obviously we got a guard problem. First, point guard, I think it's a couple ways they can move to get a point guard. Talk about the assets. Obviously, they do have Luke Kennard. They refused to put Luke Kennard in the trade to Memphis. And I think it was probably because they didn't want to take back Chandler Parsons' contract partially as well, too. And actually, he back playing. Thought he wasn't going to never play again, just going to collect a check at the end of the bench. If he can get back to, I'm just saying in general, if Parsons got back to healthy, his shooting could have helped the Pistons off, but it's so iffy. It's been years since he's been good, but yeah, they refused to take Luke. But they got Luke. Shit changes. They got Luke. They got Reggie. They got Ish. Who else they got out there? They traded Reggie Bullock. Some talk about him coming back. But those are their tradable assets. You know what I'm saying? Right now, they developing assets are the kid that came from the Lakers. I'm not gonna butcher this name, from Kansas. They talking about him being a point guard, but he developing. Bruce is developing. He got to develop an offensive game. Defensively, he's out of sight, out of mind, man. I see him do a number on Kawhi Leonard. If they can get him develop a floater, a mid-range game like Russell Westbrook did, I think, and then later in his career, he can extend out to the three-point line. He'll be big. I think he's going to be big time if he can do that, but that's an if. If it was a fifth, we all be drunk, right? I don't think Glenn Robinson is going to be an asset, right now. But right now, those are kind of the assets that they can play with right now. Wayne Ellington, I think, is on a one-year deal. But those are the assets they can play with. A developing asset as well as Don Maker as well, too. I like Don Maker. I like the erratic confidence he's been playing with. But, obviously they got a point guard problem. We got a wing problem as well, too. But I think a good point guard is going to make Andre Drummond just that much better. And what we're trying to do in the beginning of this scenario in this video is not trying to trade Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Let's try to keep them two together. We know the reason Reggie Jackson contract is sexy next year to teams is because it's an expiring contract around $18 to $20 million. So that's pretty much a $20 million cap exemption for a team going into not this offseason, it's the next offseason. So that's why it's attractive right there. So teams that want to get off contracts and get out of contracts of players that may not fit, that may get paid. Now, I don't have the list of players that's under stupid contracts like Gordon Hayward. Obviously, it's stupid because he got injured. I do know John Wall is another guy. Is going up to $41 million next year, $42 million in a supermax deal. Do you really want to deal with that? We get into that. And I don't know about any more bad contracts out there that's like that. But talk about point guards, and eventually we talk about shooting guards, and we'll do an NBA draft spotlight this year. I'll scout some talent out there. I'm watching a tournament like everybody else. But, I'm going to tell you why some of these dudes may be available or may fit. All right, Isaiah Thomas, we talked about him already from Denver. He's a guy that you have to give up absolutely nothing for. You might pay him $2.5 million. I think he make 1 point some million this year, maybe $2 or $3 million. With the I think they have a mid-level exception or something like that to use in the offseason. You're not hoping that he come in and beat Isaiah Thomas that he once was. That is the ceiling. He can give you what he gave you in Boston. But, you hoping he rehabilitate through this playoff run with Denver through the offseason, he get healthy. You take a flyer on him. He ball out. He provides some scoring off the bench right behind Reggie until you figure out if you want to do a Reggie. Like I said, it's a risk that you got to take because you strapped for cash. 70-80% of your cap is tied up between Drummond, Blake Griffin, and Reggie Jackson right now. So it's a guy that can provide some sauce off the bench. It's going to be hard to play him and Ish together because they're both small guys, but you can stagnate their minutes and play him with Reggie. If Wayne stay around, Luke stay around, you can play him with and mix them in with that. But, maybe it's to the point where Isaiah Thomas is done. But at the end of the day, for $1, $2, $3 million, it's a risk worth taking, right? So we talked about him. Obviously, we're going to go with the guys that we're familiar with, we've been talking about first, and then we get into the other scenarios. Okay, Mike Conley was a guy that they didn't want to put Luke Kennard in the deal, so the Pistons asked it. He make a ton of money. I think he go up against in $30 million a year next year. Obviously, Reggie was going to be in the deal too. He definitely could help the Pistons down the stretch, in my opinion. He was balling out. He taking rest days because they're not really playing for nothing. They plan on moving Mike in the offseason, I heard. Good player, but at that price and at that age, it's hard. It's like really like win now. I mean, like the Pistons will have to go hit they ceiling next season just by adding Mike Conley, hoping that Thon Maker develop, hoping that Kyrie Thomas or Bruce Brown, one or both of them, develop, hoping you bring a rookie in that can really add some sauce on the wing. You know what I'm saying? So then again, Mike Conley is a good fit financially. Again, when we talk about John Wall, financially again, it's a risk. You're taking an older point guard, and then you raising Reggie Jackson's salary up by damn near double. You know, he'd be up in the $35 million per season range with Mike if you get Mike Conley. So I'm taking a risk, and he got a couple years on that contract. I think him and Andre Drummond contract run parallel with each other. So they will be expected to win right now, and I think he will provide a big boost. He can score, he can shoot, still got some agility, still got some speed. I think he can assist Drummond to becoming an all-star again, which he was a borderline all-star in a lot of people's opinion this year. I mean, if he played like he playing now, you know, he having some hiccup games. I mean, he's a 7-footer, West Coast swing with 6-game road trip. It's tough. It's tough to bring that energy every night. But Mike Conley can help him set up a ton of easy baskets. The pick and roll between Conley and Drummond would be amazing, and then the ability for him, Conley, to come off the 3-point line and shoot it, or come off the pick and shoot it in the elbow, or can penetrate with a floater, can penetrate and dish it to dish it to Andre Drummond for alley-oop. It's just, in my opinion, it would be amazing. It's just the salary that worries me and the age of Mike Conley that really worries me, man. And it's just my personal opinion. Now, we just going to go with the guys that we talked about before, or has been talked about in the Detroit Pistons circle. We could talk about Kemba Walker. Amazing. I feel like they should have got Kemba years ago. Kemba is a hard-working guy. I watched him in UConn, you know, on a tournament run. Then I think after he left, the kid, Shabazz Napier, went on a run. And Shabazz Napier was producing when he got minutes in Portland. He produced this year a little bit when he got minutes in Brooklyn. Maybe he can be a small help to them, man. But if he get minutes, he can produce. But Kemba is another guy that is just deadly. And I think Kemba Walker will be deadly with Blake Griffin, deadly with Andre Drummond. I think he might be having a contract coming up soon. So even if it's his last year, which I don't think this year is, you can do a sign and trade. Charlotte would rather get something for him than lose everything and not get nothing back, because he is everything in Charlotte. But you put him with Blake and Andre Drummond, I think the Pistons, with the development, once again, it's going to be a recurring sentence or a recurring phrase, with the development of Thon, Bruce, Kyrie Thomas, Luke Kennard, if you don't have to trade Luke for him, which you probably will, and the rookie you bring in, with the development, or if you trade your first-round pick, you have to have development around them. Wayne going to have to shoot it better. The kids you got from Lakers going to have to come in and contribute. So, but if you get some guys that contribute and a couple guys that can shoot around them, if you're able to swing Kemba here, it's worth every penny. It is, you know. Great fit, excellent scorer, can shoot the rock. I think he's a little bit younger than Mike. Ain't had the catastrophic injuries Mike had, but he's just a one-man army. He don't have too much help in Charlotte. I mean, Jeremy Lamb, he'll show up every now and again. Nicholas Batum, we already know about him. He might show up. So you put in with Andre Drummond pick and roll, his ability to score, he's going to draw defense to him. He's able to drop off to Andre. It's going to make Andre Drummond game that much better. It's going to make the game much easier for him. And I think we ain't talked about Blake. You know, Kemba Walker handling the ball, handling responsibilities from Blake, and Blake able to get on the block, move without the ball, still clear out the side, and people got to respect Kemba on the other side and able to go one-on-one and able to get back to bully ball a little bit on the block. I think that'll help Blake Griffin off a lot, and Blake Griffin won't have to expand his energy in the first half of the season and pretty much jog for a minute and then ramp it up towards the end of the season is what they're trying to do with him. But I think Kemba Walker is probably the best fit here, you know, and I rank him at the end. I think he's the best fit. Chris Dunn, I mean, we haven't talked about, we'll talk about Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is another guy, you know, has some injuries, but he got a bright future, great point guard, great facilitator, or potential to be a great point guard, great facilitator, can shoot a little bit, can score a little bit. I think it'd be an excellent pickup for the Pistons. They asked for a ton for him and Zach LaVine, but Chris Dunn is really good, you know what I'm saying? And him and Blake Griffin and Drummond in pick and roll, even him and Blake in the pick and roll, he gonna find you and make the game easier for you too. But eventually he gonna want to get paid too. But Chris Dunn is a really good point guard. It's one of my some of the favorite point guard to watch. Not a big Bulls watcher, but even though he's in Minnesota here, now I like him. The Tyus Jones kid from Minnesota. It's the guy that's behind Derrick Rose. I heard some rumors Derrick Rose could be going back to Chicago. But I like the way he plays. He ain't the biggest guy once again, but he can shoot a little bit. And when he gets minutes behind Jeff Teague, he can play. He can play. Real talk. He can play. When he's starting and they put him in the rotation, he ain't behind Jeff. He ain't behind Derrick. He can play. He can put some numbers up. He can score. I remember in Duke, he can shoot at a ton. So I think he kind of a guy just to watch. If you get on the cheap, you can move a little bit of asset here, asset there, and you can possibly do something for him for the cheap. I like his game a lot. He ain't gonna bring a ton on the defensive end. He ain't gonna bring with Mike, with Kemba, with potential Isaiah Thomas at his best bring. But he brings somebody steady. He brings somebody young. He brings a guy that's a good shooter. I don't know my dog barking at. He brings those type of dudes. He brings those type of dudes to the those type of duties to the team. He barking at the girl dog across the street. But then we move on to Lonzo. Let's move on to Lonzo. Need a fresh start. Looking for a fresh Nike deal. Disbanded from Big Baller Brand. If you watch my other channel, I talked about that quite a bit. He looking for just a fresh start. Possibly LeBron. I heard they confronted LeBron. I just dropped the video on my other channel. They confronted LeBron about his body language and not being engaged with the players. Prior to the trade deadline, he tried to trade them, and pretty much the players fed up with him. So he might be looking for a fresh start. I know Detroit ain't the ideal place for Lonzo Ball, but he can help. He can shoot a little bit. He can improve on his shot. He definitely can make Drummond better. He can do some things that Mike and Kemba could do just without the assertiveness in scoring. We need him to be assertive in scoring the rock. Dennis Smith Jr. got some injury issues with Kyrie possibly coming to New York, or Kevin Durant, which Durant said he'd never go there. If they looking to bring in some more, they're looking to bring in Kyrie, another high-profile guard, and Butler and Kevin Durant. He could be on the trading block. We talked about him a ton. Explosive guard. Still got some injury issues, and I think that leads to some of his inconsistencies in his statistics. But really good point guard, explosive, got a hell of a ceiling. Definitely can ball out. Like the kid a ton. If he ever can get healthy, I think he got an all-star potential. John Wall, like I said before, $41 million. I think that's too much to pay a guy coming off with a foot injury, a knee injury, a ton of injuries, but he definitely can play. He definitely helped Drummond out. He just don't shoot the ball enough, and he got a selfish attitude, and he makes the locker room, from what I hear from a ton of players and people around the scenes, uncomfortable for Bradley Beal and Otto Porter, some of those guys that was over there before. So, but if I ranked them for the Pistons to have, Kemba's my number one guy. Just my opinion. Mike Conley, if he wasn't for the price, he'd be number two. But Kemba, Chris Dunn, 2, Lonzo, and then 3, Conley, 4, Dennis Smith Jr. 5, Tyus, hopefully I said his name right, 6, Isaiah 7, and this the 42 million for John Wall is too much. But it's Motor City Sports Talk. Let me know what you guys think. You always can reach out to the email if you got a business question, inquiry, sponsorship. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So let me know. I got my Facebook thing fixed now, so I can get the messages and answer comments and stuff. But let me know what you guys think. One time for the one time. Y'all know what the business is. Your boy CJ Goodfellow, Motor City Sports Talk. And let me know what y'all think in the comment section about the video. And I will be rebutting. And don't forget to check out my other channel as well.